September 18th. Jordan, would you start us off with a roll call, please?
Please respond by stating present. Councilmember Ronayne.
Present.
Fauberg.
Present.
Liebelt.
Present.
Reif.
Present.
Johnson. Reinbold.
Present.
Langer.
Present.
Norvstrup.
Present.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Present. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. First order of business tonight here will be to approve this meeting agenda as printed. I'm not aware of any changes, so I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Travis? I do have one item, number B under new business.
Okay,
The
sounds
petitioner
good.
does need to remove that from the agenda. 7B, I'm
Alrighty,
sorry.
give me just 1 second. So we had a public hearing and possible approval of resolution 230801 to vacate a right-of-way. That's what you're talking about?
Correct, yeah.
All right, so I would entertain a motion with that adjustment to our agenda, which would remove new business item 7B at the request of our Planning and Zoning Department.
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold, second from Councilman Ronayne. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We'll skip over that item when we get to it. Next, we've got the approval of minutes from our previous meeting, which was 2 weeks ago on September 5th. May I get a motion to approve those minutes as printed?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion, Councilwoman Liebelt, second, Councilman Reif. Any changes or input that anyone from the council has before we take our vote? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. I'm scanning the audience here. When I walked in, there was nobody that had signed up to speak at our open forum, so we'll skip along to
Mr.
our...
Mayor, I think Perry.
Oh, Carl, did you sign up? Yes. Oh, we have got a state legislator in our midst, and he had signed up after I was already in the room, so sorry about that, Carl. I mean no offense. Make sure the little green light is on there. Give yourself a few minutes to let us know what you've got going.
This will be very brief. I want to compliment a couple people because we have Constitution Day is the 17th, and the Exchange Club of Aberdeen put the flags out throughout the community, and I want to compliment them. The other one is Northern State University had Constitution Day today with their students. They were signing up new people to register and things like this, and they had the Army there, and they had several other people there, and they also passed out little booklets on Constitution, and that's with Professor Rick Dice. Anyway, they did those things, and I just had two real quick quotes about the Constitution, and the reason for that is pretty important to us. The Constitution is a guide which I will never abandon, and George Washington, who's on all your dollar bills, is the person that said that. And the Declaration of Independence was the promise. The Constitution was the fulfillment, and that was Warren Burger. And there's tons of other things, but I just wanted us to remember that Constitution Day is something that we shouldn't just let happen. It's something that's very important to our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Perry. I'd like to thank the Exchange Club and NSU for those efforts on those Constitution Day activities. And thank you especially, Carl, for pointing out who George Washington was, I guess, for anybody who was unfamiliar. A name from our history, you know. Next, we've got a consent calendar with 5 unique items, including requests for event permits, request for temporary variance from a noise for some shooting that the police will be doing, setting a hearing date, lottery notice, and a proclamation for our South Dakota Right to Life's 52nd Annual State Convention, which will take place here in Aberdeen. I would take a motion to approve those 5 consent calendar items.
Move to approve.
Got a motion from Councilman Reif, second from Councilman Norvstrup. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. move right along to our old business where we have a single item of old business. It's the possible second reading and final adoption of our ordinance titled 230901, which is effectively our city's budget, titled here as 2024 Appropriations Ordinance. It passed without reservation 2 weeks ago, and we need our second reading to make it official. We have a new city manager since that was queued up, so I'm going to give Robin a moment. Anything new or exciting to touch on as far as it relates to this second reading? Robin?
I did have a chance. I was not here at the last meeting, so I did watch the meeting, so I was able to see the discussion about the different possibilities. What I will say is, right now, I would recommend that we move forward with it as produced, and if there's something that, through discussions, that we come up with for changes at a later time, you always have that opportunity to amend at a later time, once you've come to some consensus.
With that, I'll move to approve.
Second.
So I've got a motion from Councilman Ronayne and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Does anyone on the council have anything to discuss as it relates to the second reading?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, David.
I thought I should at least say something because I talked about maybe bringing some of the ideas back that I had 2 weeks ago, and I did have a conversation with Robin, and I agree with what he just said, that we can kind of, as a council, think about those ideas and maybe others, and we can always work on them in between now and when the budget actually goes into effect. So I am not going to be proposing any of those ideas today, but I still think that they have value, and we should discuss them in like a work session or something. But I think we can pass the budget and talk about them in a future date soon, maybe.
Thank you, Councilman Northstrop. Anything else from the council? All right, then, Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote on this second reading then, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Foberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Norvstrup,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion carries. Moving right along to our new business. The first order of business is our public hearing on the 2024 through 2028 Capital Improvement Plan, as well as possible approval of the resolution which accompanies it, titled 230901R, which adopts that capital improvement plan with or without amendments. And I know that there's been a couple of hot topics, at least, as far as some of the order of some of those events will be concerned. So I'm going to kick it over to City Manager Robin Bobzien, who will tell us a little bit about his thoughts as it relates to this CIP.
We have talked about this at a work session or in council a few weeks back. Probably the largest discussion, I think, was the possibility of the two-way Main Street and accelerating that timing. We did talk with the Downtown Association last week, a week ago. We will further those discussions to see what is possible with the state. I know David had talked, a member from the DOT. I have talked to some others from the DOT. I've asked Stu to put together a meeting with the DOT so we can have those discussions and see what the possibilities are at this point. And then we will report back once we have that. So at this point, I don't have anything to propose for a change in timeline. Same thing as what we just discussed. I'm recommending passing it as it's produced right now, and if there's something we can do to move things around, we can move things around within the budget to make it happen. So.
Move to approve.
Motion, Councilman Ronayne, second, Councilman Northstrop, and I just want to echo those sentiments. I think that there was been a lot of discussion in the community and a lot of interest on that particular issue that Robin had talked about. And so as far as it's concerned, I think that we have good momentum, and I think that we've got kind of the will to push this thing forward a little bit. Councilman Wright, what have you got?
I just got a question. I know one of the options was to do the two-way Main Street up and leave out that last block where Malchouse Plaza. Is that a viable option, or do you have some concerns about that?
It is a possibility. I think the biggest negative on parts of the study was that if we did the full two-way Main Street, They wanted to remove parking so we'd have a stacking lane for those straight ahead movements in the right turn. Losing all the parking on that west side for the southbound traffic would be devastating for that block, and so we're looking at other options. Doing it to Fifth Avenue, of course, you're going to split traffic off. That may eliminate some people from wanting to go southbound on Main. So we're not sure what that would do to traffic patterns, but it would be an interesting experiment, if nothing less. So.
All right. Anyone else from the council have anything to chip in as it relates? I know that we had a super long meeting at one stage in the game where we walked through a lot of the different components of this capital outlay program. All right, then. Jordan, would you go ahead and give us a roll call vote on this, I guess, what are we voting on here? A resolution.
Councilmember Norvstrup,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Fauberg,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next item of business with our removed item will be the request to declare 5 abandoned bicycles as surplus property and to donate those to a group called Step Up Ministries. And here to talk a little bit about that is our very own Police Chief Dave McNeil. Chief, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, thank you. So that's correct. What we're looking for tonight is, again, your approval on surplusing 5 bikes from our lost and found inventory. These would go to Step Up Ministries, and their plan for these would be going to people that need these for transportation to get to their jobs. Step Up Ministries has a role in our community helping those that are on probation and parole. So with that, again, we're asking that you surplus these bikes so we can give this to them for use.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion, Councilman Reif, second, Councilman Reinbold. Does anyone have any questions for our police chief as it relates to this surplus? All right, then, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you for joining us, Chief. Quick and easy. Next, we have a consent to appointments for our Water Reclamation Superintendent and Public Works Director and City Engineer, at least one of whom is in the room right now. I'm going to kick things over to City Manager Robin Bob Zine to talk about those appointments.
Ron, you can weigh in where you feel appropriate when I mess up here, but apparently in the ordinance, we do have a requirement to at least have concurrence from the council where a department head is appointed by the city manager and they have at least 5% of the employees or 5% of the budget. Is that how it reads? So in both cases, water reclamation and the public works engineering position both meet that requirement. So we're asking for your concurrence for those 2 appointments.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Norvstrup. And, well, Stu, congratulations. Long time coming. Glad you were given the opportunity. How about Amanda Fisher? You want to give us a little bit of a rundown on Amanda for those that aren't familiar with her?
Amanda has been the pretreatment coordinator for the last 8 years, I believe, out there. And so she's been Peggy's right-hand person throughout that. And she's been through the development of the plans and specs to this point for the renovation out at the wastewater plant. So she's well qualified, interviewed well, and she's energetic and excited to be part of the team.
Thank you, Robin. Any other questions or statements from the council? And a voice vote's all right on this one. All right, then. We've got our motion. We've got our second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next, we've got a recommendation to award a bid for a chip spreader unit to TransSource in the amount of $355,900 and to trade in our current one for $8,000. Mr. Stuart Nelson is here to tell us a little bit about that. Welcome.
Thanks. So yes, this is we're replacing a piece of equipment that was purchased. The current one we have was purchased in 1990, So we've gotten, I think, our use out of it. With our trade-in and the cost, we're below our budgeted amount of $380,000, I believe is what it was. So I think that the Public Works Department feels like this is a good value, and it's going to be something that's going to help them with more efficient chip spreading when they're doing their the chip seal program. So yeah, they're excited to have a new piece of equipment that will actually function the way it's supposed to. So.
And it's a generational purchase. It's not something that depreciates quickly. We use it for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's six.
Yeah, literally, we use this piece of equipment for about 1 month out of the year, roughly, and then but it's a necessity. We need it, so we can't do the chip sealing without it.
Is there a functional purpose for that trade-in or functional value for that trade-in, or are they just going to use it for scrap steel, or how? What happens?
I really couldn't speak to what the vendor is thinking that they'll do with it. They'll probably market it to another community or something. So when you consider probably what that was, what we paid for it originally, I can't imagine it was much more than $50,000 or $60,000 back then. We're actually getting probably not a bad trade-in value for it. So.
All right. Well, I would take a motion if someone on the council was inclined.
Move to approve.
Motion, Councilwoman Liebelt. Second, Councilman Norvstrup. Are there any further questions for our new Public Works Director?
I have one.
Go ahead, Justin.
Would it be worth keeping the other one? Would we be able to get more done if we had the other one, or is it better just to free up the storage area and get rid of it?
So if you were going to keep it, then you would need another oil distributor, and you'd need probably more staff.
Okay.
It probably just really doesn't make a lot of economic sense to hold on to it, even though you
have room in
really
your
don't
yard,
have
Justin?
much invested in it.
No.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else from the council? All right, Jordan.
Councilmember Ronayne.
Aye.
Foberg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Norvstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye. Motion carries. Another one for our Public Works Director, Stu Nelson. We've got a possible approval of a payment, title number 1, in the amount of $449,596.50, as well as an accompanying change order for negative $140,903.09 to Jensen Rock and Sand for our mill and overlay improvement project. Stu, we don't usually go the wrong way, that way, I guess, the right way on a change order. What's going on?
So we actually didn't go the right way or the wrong way, I guess. That is a little bit of a typo there. That should be a plus sign. So,
Doggone it.
as much as I'd like to take credit for decreasing a contract by that amount, we actually, when we started work on this project, we realized that there was probably more issues with the storm sewer on the intersections on State Street than what we had anticipated. So we elected to go ahead and put in new inlets and new storm sewer laterals in every intersection that has storm sewer on State Street. So we believe we'll get a lot better product out of the whole process by doing that, and we think it was well worth the additional money that we spent, and we are substantially below what our budgeted amount for this was. So I think we originally had budgeted around $800,000 for this. So we're still coming in quite a bit underneath that.
Thank you, Stu.
Move to approve.
Second.
Had a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilwoman Liebelt. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Nelson as it relates to either the additional work done or the project itself? All right, Jordan?
Councilmember Norvstrup,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Fauberg,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion carries. Finally, with our Public Works Director, we've got a item, possible approval of payments for the work on Public Works projects. Payment number 2 is our traffic at the signal at the Brown County 19 and 8th Avenue Northeast. That payment goes to Ringenberg Electric for $83,746.11. And we've got payment number 4 for the South Dakota Street roadway improvement project to Reedy Construction for $1,003,032. I drove by this morning, Stuart, to take a look at how those signals were coming along. Looks like the posts are up, but the electric's in.
The poles are up, the foundation is in for the controller cabinet, and they'll be putting that in as soon as the controller arrives. I think I made mention of this at our last meeting, that normally we're waiting on the poles and the mast arms, and for this one, we had a different supplier for the controller itself, the electrical box that processes all the signals, and that's what we're waiting on. The contractor anticipates that we will be getting that in about a week. So once he gets that, he can start putting the rest of the intersection together. And I would say in the next couple weeks, we should see those signals up and operating. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you on the Reedy construction part?
Oh, I forgot, that's on there too. So this pay request is for pretty much all the pavement there. And the sidewalks and driveways and most of the asphalt patching has been done. About half of the road's been sealed. The joints have been sealed. We're hoping that we could have it open maybe at the earliest by Friday. If we can kind of get things all to kind of fall together. And if we don't do that, it'll be early next week when we have traffic back on it. We're still waiting for poles and mast arms for the signals at 3rd Avenue, so that will be a 4-way stop for the time being until we get that equipment in. So, but yeah, we're very close to being done.
Thank you, Stu. And that one was slated to be about a $2.6 million
Yes.
project in total.
Yep.
Are we looking good,
We're
bad?
going to be very close to that.
Thank you. All right. So, Josh, would you care to make that motion?
Sure. Now I'll move to approve.
All right.
Second.
Got a motion. Councilman Reif, second. Councilman Norvstrup. Any questions for our Public Works Director? All right, Jordan?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Fauberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Norvstrup,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Thank you for joining us, Stu, as always. Next, we've got a possible approval in our non-federal reimbursable agreement between the FAA Flight Program Operations and our local airport, City KABR being our letters. Go ahead with that. Transportation Director Rich Krokel.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Okay, so this one, this is for the flight check. Because we've had so much work done on the runway, we've installed new equipment, new runway edge lighting. All that needs to be flown by the FAA so that, you know, they can ensure that everything's in proper alignment and correct working order. So that is a reimbursable agreement. That's going to be the amount of $18,176.40, and that will be reimbursable through a future AIP project. So, and then going forward, all of the rest of them, in case I forget to say it, we're seeking city manager approval for city manager to sign off on all this stuff. I got a lot of stuff here tonight.
So are we just approving item H right now, is that the idea?
This would be for H, correct.
I would move that we approve the non-federal reimbursable agreement.
Second.
Motion, Councilman Ronayne, second, Councilman Reinbold. Any questions about the particulars of this? And I took a look at the runway just the other day, and it looked like it's coming pretty well along. How much longer till you anticipate that's ready to go?
It's going to be at least a couple of weeks because our PAPIs, the Precision Approach Path Indicators, won't be shipping until Friday. So we've had Ephraimson Electric is doing the electrical portion of that project, and their supplier has they've actually stepped up and got some of the stuff to us earlier than what they had initially proposed.
Thank you. Don't know that it necessarily relates exactly to this, but it got me thinking about that thing opening up. Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote on this approval of this agreement?
Councilmember Norvstrup.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Liebelt. Foberg.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Also with Transportation Director Rich Croco, we've got a possible approval of our FAA AIP grant application for our general aviation apron reconstruction project, which is now at phase 2. Rich, what can you tell us about that grant application?
Yeah, we put this package together for next year's project. We want to keep moving along on the general aviation apron. We've rebuilt a little over half of it. That project, the current project, is about probably 3 weeks behind, but they're catching up. This new project that we're talking about tonight will be the area in front of Quest Aviation over to Hangar 9, if you're familiar with that general aviation area. So this project would be $4,260,000, and that's 90% federal, 5% state, and 5% city. And again, we're asking for a city manager to be authorized to sign all documents going forward relating to this project.
I'll move it.
I've got a motion from Councilman Ronayne and a second from Councilwoman Liebelt. Does anyone have any questions about this particular grant? All right, Jordan, would you give us a roll call, please?
Councilmember Ronayne.
Aye.
Foberg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Norvstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye. Next, we've got a possible approval of our BIL grant application for the replacement of our friction testing equipment. Rich?
Yep, so currently, the way we test for friction on the runway during the winter operations is we've got a clinometer in the car, or in the truck. And at 3 areas, we have to do 9 different tests where you drive 20 mile an hour, slam on the brakes. And it gives you an average.
That's how I test the roads in town, by the way. When it's icy, you know?
So, yeah, the project that we're putting together, we estimated high on this just because of the volatility of costs. The estimate that I have is for about $79,000. So what this will do is take that brake slamming action out of it, because this will be a device it's a wheel that's mounted to the back of the truck, and it's continuous. So we just drive down the runway and it'll average it out that way.
I'd do it for $70,000. Just offering. Nobody believes you.
So again, this is a 90%, 5%, 5% cost share. We're asking for the city manager to be authorized to sign all documentation going forward on this project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion, Councilman Ripe, second, Councilman Reinbold. Does there ever find a circumstance where these things get denied in these grants? It seems like we have a pretty high track record of successfully closing these grants with the FAA.
Well, we maintain an open line of communication with the FAA. Our local office is up in Bismarck. And then Lindsay Butler is the program manager. She's in Minneapolis, so she dials in on our calls too. We do a monthly call. So none of this stuff is a surprise to the FAA. You know, we do our CIP meetings twice a year.
Thank you, Rich. So we've got our motion and our second. Any other questions from our council here? All right, Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote on item J?
Councilmember Norvstrup.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Fauberg.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Now we've got the possible approval of a variety of payments for the work on our airport improvement projects, as well as to also authorize our city manager to sign those pay requests. We've got 8 in total, and rather than read through them individually, I'm just gonna have Rich walk us through them. Rich?
Okay. And then you're gonna vote on them afterwards?
Yes.
Okay. So 7K1 is lighting improvements project. This is admin and engineering, resident engineering for $58,012.97. K2 is GA ramp reconstruction, and that's Helms and Associates. That's engineering and administration for $40,027.27. K3 is pay estimate in the amount of $836,270.88 to Sharp Enterprises for work completed to date. And this one is 95%, and then 2.5. K4 is GA ramp reconstruction, and this is for Aaron Swan for testing of P501 in the amount of $10,668. Yeah, and then also 95%, 2.5. K5 is runway 1331 lighting improvements. This is Ephraimson Electric work completed to date. Amount of $106,397.94. That's a 90%. K6 is lighting improvement project 1331. That's for Aaron Swan, P501 and 401 testing in the amount of $16,184.50. Item K7 is runway improvements, and that's for Reedy Construction work completed to date, $1,003,899.60. And number 8 is Reedy Construction, $3,528. 7 and 8, these are broken out into, so if you'll notice right on that project number before the 2023, one's 49 and one's 50. That's because one of them's AIP and the other is BIL. So the work had to be broken out between the two sources of funding.
Thank you, Rich. I'll take a motion and get our second, and then we can open the floor to any questions or discussion as it relates to this. Would someone care to carry this with a motion?
I'll move to pay all 8 bills.
Second.
Motion, Councilman Ronayne. Second, Councilman Norvstrup. So it looks like this is tallying up quite a bit of variety of payments. So hopefully a lot of these projects are kind of coming to a close, it seems as though.
Yep.
What were the results of the tests? Have we gotten those back from that Aaron Swan Associates?
They're all passing results. Each of them is a little bit different. You know, they do concrete beam breaks and they do asphalt testing. So I can email that stuff to you if you want.
Sure.
Okay.
Be good. Any other questions from the council as it relates to any of these payments? All right. Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne.
Aye.
Fauberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Norvstrup,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
joining us, Mr. Krokel. Appreciate that. Finally, we've got a review and approval of our bills for the evening for this week and the week before, September 18th, 2023. We'll take a motion to pay our bills.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion, Councilman Reinbold, second, Councilman Ronayne. Any questions or comments to be had as it relates to any of these particular expenses? Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Norvstrup,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Fauberg,
I accept I abstain from the service charge to Dakota Bank.
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
I will abstain from the payment to climate control and sewer duct. Otherwise, aye in favor of the remainder, and the bills will be paid. Motion does carry. Next, we've got a city manager's report, but I'd like to start that by saying welcome, Robin. Good to have you up here on the other side of the podium here. What have you got for us this evening?
Well, I will tell you that it's been an interesting week. Learned a lot already, and I had no idea that it would take 6 hours to go through the bills just to verify what Jordan's group does. Very specific and very thorough, and hopefully I get a little more efficient, because it was a long time looking at bills this weekend. But it has been very interesting. I'm excited to be here and to be part of maybe a little different facet of this work. And as we talked about a little earlier in the meeting, I think we'll probably have to start some things so I have a little better feel for where the council's at on certain things by doing some work sessions, so we can start boiling some things down, so I know where you'd like us to head. So with that, thank you, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Bob Zine. Now we're slated for an executive session to talk a little bit with our legal counsel about some contractual matters. So why don't we take a little bit of time and clear the room for those who will not be necessary for this executive session. Thank you guys all for coming in today.